humanitarian aid overseas. A federal judge is now blocking, at least temporarily, drastic cuts at the agency.
But Margaret Brennan in Washington. Margaret, the impact of those cuts, despite what the judge is doing, the impact does have ripple effects, yes?
Absolutely, John. And in the meantime, that judge has only bought time for those 2,000 or so workers to figure out if they have a job or health care. They're arguing in court that the president doesn't unilaterally have the authority to shutter an agency enshrined in law by Congress. But so far, very few lawmakers are voicing objections, John. But the real world impact that you're referencing, you need only look at the 500,000 metric tons of food aid and some drugs that are already sitting on ships and ports, unable to be delivered or unloaded because there are no workers to deliver it. 30 metric tons sitting in the port of Houston alone. This seems, John, the opposite of increasing efficiency.
And then, Margaret, if the U.S. is no longer able to lead the world in giving out foreign aid, what are the long-term implications we'd be looking at?
Well, Maurice, when President Kennedy created USAID as a national security tool in 1961, he said it was to send American development workers to places instead of sending troops. It's the idea of winning hearts and minds and influence. And right now, the UN and aid workers are lobbying on Capitol Hill to tell lawmakers, if you don't feed people today, you might fight them tomorrow. That's a gesture towards like the terrorist groups that withhold food as leverage to gain power, and also the great power competition with China, where the U.S. is fighting for influence. We know Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said the U.S. will restart some kind of aid, but we don't know what, when, or how.
All right, Margaret Brennan in Washington, thank you so much.
And a reminder that Margaret will be along on Sunday with Face the Nation.
Still ahead right here on the CBS Evening News, Lonnie Quinn is tracking the storms of winter, including tornadoes.